Hello everyone, it's Shel from Paper Actio Studio and welcome to the Pass It On video hop. This is a hop made with 10 artists from the Inspiration Conspiracy group, which was originally started by Shannon Green, and we sometimes do things together, and this is one of the things we did. So right now I'm showing you actually the things that I got from Shannon Green. In addition, there is a stencil and a stamp. That's those two things down in the left corner there that I must use. Everything else in this package was optional. It was just things that I was sent to use, but I must use the stencil and the stamp. Those things went from one place to another, to Europe, to they just went everywhere. And everybody in the hop used those two items on their project, and then everything else that they used was optional, and they could use things that were sent to them. I mean, they should use some of the stuff that was sent to them, and then also they could use things from their own stash. So the first thing that I used on my 8x10 canvas board is a piece of what looked to be paper towel that had a lot of different inks and paints on it. That was sent to me by Shannon Green. Lots of different browns, burgundies, and golds, colors like that. So I tore up that paper towel and I glued it down using Liquitex liquid matte medium onto my 8x10 canvas board. And then now I'm using some Deco Arts Media Line acrylics in, I believe, green gold, transparent iron oxide, yellow oxide, and maybe quinacridone gold. I'll have to look, but I believe those are the four colors that I used. And I'm just using my fingers. Oh, and then I also have some PBO titanium buff, or buff titanium, or buff titan, or whatever they're calling it these days. And I'm just using my fingers to finger paint and kind of blend in all the different colors from all the paper towel. I picked colors that were in the paper towel, and then that neutral buff color to blend everything together and make a cohesive background. And once I dry that, then I decide it's still a little bit busy, so I water down the buff titanium and just use a paintbrush to paint it all over the background to tone everything down. This is supposed to be a background, so to tone everything down a little bit and make it even more cohesive. And that worked great. I thought it was pretty cool after I was done with that. Then I've got a lot of different papers that she sent me. I happen to know that these are Canvas Corp brands papers because I also design for them and she works for them. But they're double-sided papers in most cases that Canvas Corp prints, and she sent me a good collection of coordinating ones that I could use. So I just took them and tore them in places or left them straight in places and auditioned them onto my canvas. And once I was happy with that layer, I started applying them down to the canvas using Liquitex matte gel medium. This is different than the one that I used for the lighter paper. And I got those all stuck down, gone over the top. I squeegeed them and got them flat. And then now I'm using the stencil. The stencil is the one that everyone has used, and it's been all over the world. I'll be interested to see what other people made with the same stencil and stamp. That'll be pretty cool. And that was the whole pass it on of the Pass It On conspiracy. We keep passing on this stencil and stamp so that everyone can use it. And just I think it was a great concept and a very fun video hop. So I'm using, of course, light molding paste from Golden, and I did it through the stencil in a few places, and then now I'm using that same paste and going around the outside edges of the canvas to make it have some more texture. I like textured things. I think they're fun. So I'm just I'm pretending it's a cake, and I'm just frosting it. Just frosting it. My next step was to use a artist pit brush pen and a water barrel brush to add a little bit of a shadow around those pieces of paper that I had glued on there. The pit pen is is India ink, so it is permanent once dry, but it does have a few seconds in which you can blend it. So I did that using a water barrel brush. That's a synthetic paintbrush with water in the barrel. Then I have some transparent brown, and this is from the Golden High Flow. So it's very fluidy acrylic. And I'm putting that in the places where I put the texture paste, and then adding a little bit of squirts of water and letting it drip. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I want the color to go down into that textured molding paste and make it stand out more. So I just keep doing this and blotting off a little bit of the water with a paper towel, and it really makes that, it colors the paste and also makes it stand out by making it darker down in the creases and crevices. And then, because I love copper so much, I got out the Golden High Flow Fine Copper and went over some of the areas as well and let that drip and blend in, because I love copper. And this canvas is so pretty. It's just got that metallic coppery colors and different other metallic things. Are really pretty. So my next step was to start working on my focal images, and I have a lot of different things. I've got some burlap. I've got a kind of an ATC sized card that she sent with an interesting drippy background on it, kind of metallic-y. I've got some handmade paper that has script stamped onto it, and some ephemera from Canvas Corp, different little tags in this, and that's like a ticket. Also some tissue tape, also from Canvas Corp, that has script on it or printing on it. And then there's a couple little birds that are printed on some sort of a chipboard. They're very shiny on the top, and I thought they were really cool. So I decided that I was going to use them on the top. So I'm just piling things up. There's some metal clips, some buttons. I grabbed a couple other metal things out of my box of metal stuff. That flower also, I think, probably came from the same set. These are probably, I guess they'd be called maybe 3D stickers. I don't know, but they're thick. You know, they're not thin stickers, and they're not sticky on the back either. And I ended up using some foam tape to attach them to make them a little bit more dimensional on top of things. So then I started attaching things down, and I'm using mostly the 3D gloss gel from Prima to do that, because it holds really well when you're doing things like heavy things like metal. And I'm also putting on micro beads, copper micro beads from Prima, and it does those really well. So to use the stamp, it's a sunflower stamp. I stamped it on a piece of rust colored cardstock and then embossed it with a fine copper embossing powder. That's Wow embossing powder. And then I punched it into circles, and I'm adding that to my little areas of interest by tucking it in or putting it on top, and just basically gluing everything down. A couple of strings from the burlap that I pulled off, I tucked them under there, and stamped images, buttons, metal findings, and then the birds on top. I also did end up using a bit of hot glue as well. You're just kind of guessing what kind of glue will be the best. In some of the elements, including the birds and some of the papers, I used archival ink and potting soil color to use a dauber and go around the edges so that they stand out better, like the ticket and that script printed piece of handmade paper. This project was really fun, and it turned out really great. I hope that you go and watch everybody else's videos. All that you need to do is go into the description box below, click on the first link at the top, and it will take you to that video. And then the next time when you completed that video, you'll click on the first link in their description box. And once you get back to my video, you know that you've watched all 10 of them. And they're all around 10 minutes. Mine might be 11. I did my best. But I hope you go and watch everybody's videos, and of course, like, comment, subscribe to them, to me, to whoever, share if you want to, of course. All those things really help us, and you might find some new people that you haven't seen before. So be sure you do that. We love it when you watch our videos. We don't make this for any other reason than that. So have fun with the hop. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.